We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.
Hey there, crew. Matt Meister with Peaks to Plains Weather. It is 2:08. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for northeastern El Paso County from kind of just northwest of Falcon and Peyton, and for areas off to the southeast, including the Ellicott area. And we are going to go to TAMCO live radar now and show you where the severe thunderstorm warning is active for. As I said, it includes Falcon, it includes Peyton, it includes Ellicott and surrounding areas. You can tell by the shape of the warning that the storm is moving off to the southeast, and we've got a little bit more than a half hour for this severe thunderstorm warning to continue. And really, it's off to the east of Falcon and to the north of Ellicott, where there's potential for some hail, maybe around an inch in diameter. It's associated with this part of the storm that is popping up a little bit more. You can see the echo tops with that up above 45,000 feet now. And the hail tracking with this in my system has been a little bit below 1 inch in diameter. It's possible that you catch one or two little hailstones that are around an inch, and the storms are off to the southeast at about 15 miles per hour. So Ellicott, heads up, it is coming your way here. And the size of the hail that we're looking at with this, again, should be a little bit below an inch in diameter. I don't see any wind gusts right now with this that are sort of on the higher end of things, but severe storms can produce some gusts that are around 60 miles per hour. So, if I look at the leading edge of the rear flank downdraft with this cell right now, the highest I've been able to find before I came on here was about 30 miles per hour. The cold pool up on the north end is not moving all that strong right now. So I would tell you that the biggest risk is probably for some hail. I think a lot of it is going to be below a half or below an inch in diameter. Haven't had any reports as of yet. And the Weather Service has just added a flash flood warning to this area. That is up until, it's going to be a little bit longer than the flash flood warning. This one does include Peyton. It includes areas just off to the north and northeast of Falcon. And it this afternoon is until 5:15, because we are getting some pretty hefty rain with this as well. If you look at the precipitation over the last hour, let me go ahead and pull that up here. It's more than a half inch in some cases already, and the storms are moving pretty slow. In fact, as I look at this now, it looks like some spots have seen some rain around an inch or so in diameter. This is along Highway 24, straddling it, and along Elbert Road, State Highway 217, where radar is indicating a little bit more than an inch in some cases. There are some creeks in this area. There are bridges that are up over them pretty good on the road. So, if you live along a creek, maybe pay attention here in the next little bit. There certainly may be the ponding of water on some of the roads. That could be an issue for people that are driving in this area. So if you're maybe in Falcon or Colorado Springs and you're about to head to the north of Falcon toward Elbert, up into Elbert County, and just be aware that there should be quite a bit of water on the road, and you may need to use some splashback. If you can see this storm this afternoon and you'd like to come on, maybe it moved through your area already, you want to tell us about it, you can use one of these links here, vmix.at/zmSjK or vmix.at/1rjsl1. In the first one, the S and K are capitalized. In the second one, the J and S are capitalized. Excuse me. And you could come on here and you could be part of our coverage. But again, this is what we've got right now. a severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45, and a flash flood warning that is in effect until 5:15, as the storms are slow moving enough and have put down heavy enough rain that we'll have to be real careful and watch some of the creeks in this area. Some of the fields that are in low-lying spots that are susceptible to flash flooding we'll keep an eye on. And you can see that the strongest part of this storm here is now getting toward the southern end of the warning area. Let me give you a little cross-section here of this. I always do this as part of my analytical process here in looking at severe thunderstorms. And if I come in on this, it's not a particularly deep storm. The top of the storm is running about 40,000 feet. The hail core with it is up above 20,000 feet. And it doesn't look all that significant right now. It's getting a little bit higher into different parts of the storm there. But again, this leads me to think that we're probably looking at some hail that is below an inch in diameter in most cases. One of the other things I look at is vertically integrated liquid. And you can see here in some of the pinks, that's certainly indicative of hail given the elevation that we have in southern Colorado. And you can see that the storm also being tracked here by our automated system and is moving off to the southeast at about 15 miles per hour, like I said, indicating the probability of hail at 100% and getting a little bit more close to perhaps producing some hail around an inch or so in diameter. In Colorado, the computer gets a little bit too excited about the potential maximum hail size. If you were just paying attention to that, you saw that it was up around 2.5 inches. That is not going to happen with this storm. We have seen other storms moving across the Pikes Peak region here this afternoon. We've got one that's been on the southwest side of Colorado Springs for a while. We have one in an area just to the north of where we've seen a couple of flash flooding issues earlier this week. So right around Texas Creek right now on Highway 69 and Highway 50 have a pretty good storm firing. And there's still a flash flood warning that is up for the Aspen Acres fire. Heavy rain's moved out of that area now, kind of on the southwest side of the fire. We had some heavy rain earlier. That flash flood warning is in effect for the southwestern part of the Aspen Acres fire this afternoon until 4:15. So there are a couple issues that we're watching right now, and a strong storm in the area kind of off to the south of West Cliff and Silver Cliff, kind of up against the eastern edge of the Sangre de Cristos there in, we're in northwestern or western, however you want to say it, Huerfano County, off to the northwest of Walsenburg. So on the big picture, that's where we sit this afternoon. Storms have developed as expected, right in the area where we expected. In fact, let me show you over the last 2 hours how these storms have kind of developed. And now I'm going to show you the area that I had outlined where I thought we might have some severe storms today. And this severe thunderstorm warning is right in the middle of that area. What will happen over the next hour is that as the storm moves into eastern parts of my little area of severe weather, it will start to weaken. And as that happens, we'll transition from the risk of some hail around an inch in diameter to some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. And I picked a version of Skycast this morning that I thought was doing a good job of showing how the storms would sort of weaken as they moved away from the higher terrain. This is a new one. I haven't seen this one as of yet, but it should have the same idea. It's doing a pretty good job of picking up on the storms and see how it weakens things, moving them toward Crowley County and Otero County. I like to see that the model's still picking up on that because there is a little cap over the eastern plains of Colorado and these storms should weaken a little bit. One of the reasons that we've got the storms today, it really isn't the monsoon. Notice how the dew points on the west end of my map here have dropped off. We've seen drier air start to work around an area of high pressure and come into the mountains of Colorado. It's the low-level moisture behind the cold front that came in this morning that is responsible for the thunderstorms that we have formed up against the eastern mountains this afternoon. And right now the storms are right in this ribbon of energy for them to use. As they move eastward away from the higher terrain, they're going to lose some of that energy. That's one of the reasons that they fall apart a little bit. So hopefully that's helpful to you in understanding kind of where things are right now and where things are going. I know lots of you pop in and out here, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of reset things and let you know what we've got this afternoon. If you're joining us here in Roku, Fire TV, YouTube, watching the Peaks to Plains Weather 24-hour channel and the Peaks to Plains Weather app, peakstoplainsweather.com. Thanks for being here. We also, when we have active weather, stream onto social media. But if that's if that's kind of your main avenue into the internet and getting severe weather information, might I encourage you to download the Peaks to Plains Weather app. We can give you a digital shoulder tap when heavy rain, when lightning's coming your way, severe thunderstorms, flash flood warnings, when we're doing live coverage like I have here. So that is one of the better ways that we can keep track of you and your family. So I want to let you know about that, and I want to encourage you to share that with your neighbors and your friends. Again, if you'd like to come on here this afternoon, you can do so by using one of these two links. It'll bring you right into our system. You can do it on your phone, put these into your web browser, and then you can come on and you can give us what you're seeing, what you have experienced already. Please don't do it when the storm is right on top of you. But like if you've had someone in jail that maybe hit you 10 minutes ago and the heaviest part of the storm is off to the south, we'd love to have you show that to us and report that to us, and then we'll pass it on to the National Weather Service. I want to take you back to TAMCO Live Radar. Storm has intensified a little bit here in the last couple of radar frames. Right on Peyton Highway, just to the north of Highway 94, we have a hail core here that has intensified a little bit. And this is about, let me measure here from the intersection, how far to the north it is. It's about 2 miles, and then there's another little one about 1.5 miles off to the northeast of the intersection of Peyton Highway and Highway 94. So this is off to the west of Ellicott from the high school there by about 3.5 miles. And it is moving off to the southeast, so it's going to move right across this area here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. In fact, moving off to the southeast, let me kind of grab the leading edge of the core here. I can tell you that it's going to hit the main Ellicott area here in about the next 10 to 15 minutes, as I said. Computer might be a hair slow with that. This radar frame is a couple minutes old, so I'd say it's a little bit closer to 225 to 230. So just heads up in this area as this storm is moving off to the southeast. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning up until 2:45. We have a flash flood warning that is up for the same area where this storm has moved over until 5:15 this afternoon, and we have seen some pretty good rain with this cell. Let me show you here. This is just in the last hour. Pull up that radar indicating that we have seen more than an inch of rain in some cases. Let me change the color table here to match that. And you can see this kind of darker green that's starting to show up now. That's actually closer to 2 inches of rain than 1 inch of rain. And so that's a lot of water there. This is just to the east of Elbert Road, Elbert Highway, what it's called on Highway 24 between Falcon and Peyton here on the northeast side of El Paso County. I'll animate the echo tops of this storm for you over the last hour, kind of show you how it has sort of evolved here and how high in the atmosphere an updraft is one of the ways we can get kind of as we build these pictures of these things and do this forensic analysis of storms is one of the ways we can tell how strong a storm is. And it's pulsed up to around 45,000 feet a couple of times here. And as it's approaching the greater Ellicott area, you can see that it's on that higher end of things, which is why we see the more intense reflectivity with it as well. That over the last little bit here, you can see has picked up. So those of you between Ellicott Highway and Peyton Highway and along north and south of Highway 94 are currently in this hail core right now. In fact, let me put our hail tracking on here. We should have seen this tick up a little bit since I last showed this to you, and it has for sure. So there's indication now that we are more likely to get some hail that's around an inch in diameter, maybe even a little bit bigger than that. And keep in mind, not every hailstone, if I'm telling you an inch and a quarter here, maybe around ping pong balls, Not every hailstone is going to be that. If a couple of them are this big, lots of them are going to be a little bit smaller. Let's see, what can I use here on my desk? All right, let's say that if 1 or 2 hailstones is maybe this big, a lot of them will maybe be this big. Does that make sense? So just keep that in mind. If you've seen hail, you know that. There's sort of a uniform level, but then there's always a couple of big ones. And that hail core right now is kind of crossing Highway 94. So this is off to the east of Colorado Springs and south of Peyton now, where the most intense part of the cell is. And it's getting really, really close to, if it's not at Highway 94, right at Peyton Highway. If you're west of there, if you're east of there, and you want to come on and show us what you are experiencing, you are welcome to. You can use these 2 live URLs that we've got for you, and you can pop on here. We did have some flash flooding in this area earlier this week. It was a couple miles off to the northeast of Ellicott. Let me show you what that looked like from Matt Manillo, one of the Peaks to Plains weather storm chasers. I think I've still got that up into the system. Let me see if I can find it. Nope. Looks like I took it out of there for some of the Aspen Acres fire stuff. But he was out there earlier this week, and, it was ponding of water on roads. The danger of that, if you come across something like that, is it's usually in a lower spot, and you don't know what's happened to the road underneath there. That's why we say turn around, don't drown, is what the Weather Service says. So this severe thunderstorm warning until 2:24. I'm going to take a short break, and I will be back with more severe weather coverage here on Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together. Don't go anywhere. Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&D Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy. Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Dewey, here with another water-wise tip.
During summer, do you know why we water up to 3 days a week?
To make the best use of me.
Exactly. It builds deeper, stronger roots and makes your lawn more resilient.
Also, use the cycle and soak method. Try shorter cycles with breaks in between to reduce runoff.
And in spring or fall, you can water 1 or 2 days per week. Be water-wise and your lawn will thrive.
Now that's water-wise. Learn more at csu.org/waterwise.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Another attorney commercial with big promises? Millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
All right, crew. Well, we are going to talk about the extended forecast here on Peaks to Plains Weather because I want to get you set for a weekend that's going to have some changes around here as the area of high pressure is shifting off to the west, and it's going to bump up our temperatures over the next couple of days. It is starting to bring drier air into the region. In fact, on the water vapor here, you can see that we've got drier air that's moved in. The milky white colors that we had earlier this week are off to the south, the brown colors indicating drier air. And so the storms today have fired up thanks to low-level moisture behind the cold front that came in this morning. And we are a little bit cooler today behind the front than we have been. In fact, it's in the 60s up across the northern plains underneath the area of low pressure that's driving the front south across Colorado earlier this morning. Notice the heat in the desert southwest, though. Well, with where the area of high pressure is, as we get into the weekend, we'll start to rotate that air around the high, and by the time we hit Sunday, we're going to be pretty toasty around here. Sunday and Monday will be the hottest days. But notice tomorrow how most of the moisture is off to the south. Sunday, it's the same story. Then we get this wave moving across the northern plains. Once that gets east of the Rocky Mountains, drives a cold front south along the front range, and brings that into Colorado on Tuesday, which will start to open the door for the chance of thunderstorms for a couple days. We'll keep our eye on what the moisture content is going to look like. You can see that the bulk of the monsoon will still be off to the southwest, so I think there's still a little bit of work to do in that part of the forecast. Here's something that changed since actually happened a little bit before I went to the commercial break. I want to take you to the Aspen Acres fire, where the flash flood warning has been canceled. There is no rain in the area now. You can see that here on Tamco Live Radar. It's off to the south. And if you look at how much water has fallen over the last several hours, it's kind of up against the west side of the fire here. We're kind of looking off to the northwest. In the Chicken Foot in particular is where some of the heavier rain has been here. So this is off to the sort of west of Rye. We're looking due west here. And it is up the Muddy Creek drainage, but we haven't had any reports of debris coming down. And so since it's been long enough since the heavy rain moved through, we don't have any reports, and it's not raining right now. The Weather Service has canceled that flash flood warning. So that's good news for residents in the area. Still be aware here for the rest of the afternoon. We may see other storms. That's certainly possible. All right, we'll take you back to the severe thunderstorm warning and the flash flood warning off to the northeast and east of Colorado Springs. The hail core has weakened just a little bit. So we're probably back down to just below or right around maybe an inch in diameter hail between Peyton Highway and Ellicott Highway, right on Highway 94 at this point. And this is moving off to the southeast pretty slow. One of the reasons we have a flash flood warning here. I'll put up the latest hail tracking from our system here. You can see it's still bringing the storm off to the southeast, moving it very near the sort of greater Ellicott area on Highway 94. This will stay to the west of Yoder, to the west of Rush. And over the next couple of hours, we'll keep an eye kind of on northeastern Pueblo and Crowley County. But as it moves toward you guys, it is going to start to weaken. And so you may start to see the potential for some pretty strong gusts instead of hail. I think as it gets further east here, that'll be the case. And you can see where the leading edge of the gust front is right here. It's where this green is out ahead of where the hail core is, the rain is. The Weather Service now reissuing or tweaking their area of the severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see if it's a reissuance or if they just cut off the back end of it. Yeah, they cut off the back end of it here. And they are going with the potential for some hail. They're saying $50, so a little bit bigger than an inch. I would say it's a little bit less than that. I'm closer to an inch on my analysis here. But let's talk about what we think in terms of the wind. And, you know, certainly windy along this gust front. But we're not seeing anything yet that's up around 60 miles per hour, although we are picking up a little 45 there. And again, the strongest wind is going to lead the rain a little bit here this afternoon as the storm is now in the process of crossing Highway 94. The outflow from this storm kind of stretches back to the south here. This storm over southwestern Colorado Springs, that's now kind of getting into eastern Teller County, also has put out some downdraft here. So we have a developing cold pool that may, as these two things work together, increase the risk of some strong wind gusts over the next hour or so. It's moving toward Pueblo. That could help to fire up some additional storms. A little bit farther down the road, when that interacts with the wet mountains, it may be something that ends up producing some maybe enhancement of thunderstorm activity or some new growth. Something to be aware of here. So there are some trailing thunderstorms that are back behind this strong thunderstorm in El Paso County. We call this training when storms move over the same area multiple times. It's like if you were on a train track and there are train cars going over. That's kind of how these updrafts are. Boom, boom, boom. Like a boxer with a speed bag, right? One of the reasons the Weather Service has issued that flash flood warning. So, you know, if you're driving around in this area, just be aware that there may be some ponding of water on roads if you are doing some work, or if you're in a low spot, you're in an area that floods when we get heavy rain. you know who you are. Just be aware that, that might be something you deal with. Easiest thing to do, just seek higher ground in this area, part of the Palmer Divide here. Easiest thing is just to climb the hillside of wherever you are or get away from the creek. So that's where we are right now. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for another 15 minutes. It is moving south now of Highway 94. So those of you that are to the south of Ellicott, be aware this storm is moving your way. Potential for some hail around 1 inch in diameter, maybe some wind gusts up above 40 miles an hour, maybe around 45 miles per hour out ahead of the stronger cell a little bit. I'll keep an eye on all of this. If the Weather Service reissues a severe thunderstorm warning, I'll hop back on. My hunch is it starts to weaken over the next half hour, so we'll see if they reissue on that. Keep an eye on that cell coming out of Teller County as well. That one moving toward Highway 115. It's kind of riding the eastern edge of Pikes Peak here. See how it's kind of curling around Cheyenne Mountain? See that? It's almost a due south movement with that. That'll roll across Fort Carson. There's a cell off to the north of Canyon City. That'll make a run toward the Highway 50 corridor as well. And we're getting some new thunderstorms in southern Fremont County. With time, those may move toward the Aspen Acres fire. So I'm here. I'm taking care of you through the afternoon. This is Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together. Severe storm coverage on Peaks to Plains Weather is sponsored by Tamco Building Products and their Hail Guard shingles beyond Class 4. We sure do appreciate them for that and thank them for being our radar sponsor as well. And this is Peaks to Plains Weather, our weather together.
Hey, this is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified Tamco installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.